Hello, welcome. So nice of you to join us. If you're here, that means you enjoy listening to me talk, which is a good thing. Okay, why don't we just jump right on in? Got my triple mint tea. I'm ready to go. So let's get right into it. Bridge the middle parts. IG baddie, hot Cheeto girl, Pilates princess, rich and expensive. The list goes on. There are just so many different archetypes. Black women and womanhood in general that forcibly shoved down black women's throats. It's hard enough being a woman and being told what's ladylike and what isn't ladylike and what men like and what men don't like about men and decentering men. You're black. So it's a lot, but I do want to talk about what I've noticed for black women a specific microscope when they are part of a specific niche or brand or just want to partake in anything that is not the stereotypical aesthetic, most likely because they didn't have the experience. If that's for later, jump into it. Immediately, what comes to mind, very popular, but have also had their time on the hot seat in pop culture. Doechii, SZA, JT, Ayo Edebiri. Am I saying that right? Ayo Edebiri. I just want to talk a little bit about the alternative black girl, the weird black girl, the awkward black girl. We can't just let them live. I mean, I don't know what vendetta y'all have against it, but it's here to stay, and I love to see it. So let's dive right on in. Hope y'all like the new mic. So let's just jump right in to Doechii because she's really popular right now, and I love to see it. I just discovered Doechii in the summertime. I feel like I was a little bit of the wave, but low key I wasn't because much to my dismay, she's making music since. So let's just get into it a little bit. I'll tell you, 26-year-old rapper, singer, been on the scene since like I said, 20 when she had her first AP. If you're wondering, her first EP, All the Places You'll Go, and inevitably she rose to fame because she's talented. But that fame, it's had its goods. Obviously, it's pros, but it's like any type of backlash. And you may know her a little bit more for her more recent hits. There's a river, Nissan Altima. I don't know why I keep on thinking Honda Civic. It's Nissan Altima. That was the song that I found out about um, first and foremost when I was first getting into Doechii, and it's so great. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. With lots of amazing artists like Tyler the Creator, Kodak Black, and JT. But recently, Doechii has been making a standout presence because of her style and just her sound and her music in general, the quality of her music. Like, she definitely stands out in the rap game, specifically in the female rap game, because she's just a very talented rapper and quality music. She gives me like Doja Cat vibes. If they would collab, I'd probably explode. But I guess maybe they're just saving like the power that it. But anyways, she's experienced some harsh. I can't even say criticism because it genuinely just feels like cyberbullying about her music. Someone on Twitter took it upon themselves to music, which is just beyond self-deprecating, and it tells a lot about that person more than it does about Doechii because Doechii, she's a rapper, and yeah, she makes her little pop her thing music every now. I feel like a pretty balanced amount of music between like soulful and just typical rap shit. So she took it upon herself to respond, and she said, I have it written down? Oh. Okay, here we go. Okay, she said, I'm just cherry picking, by the way. Our music has always been deep. It's always been complex, and it's always been soulful slash spiritual. We use hip hop to evolve, to protest, to celebrate. Nobody should be defining our art form but us. Ask yourself why they gain from us watering down our music, taking the soul out, only discuss it, only discussing surface level topics, and becoming less conscious. Only a specific group of people benefit from us not being introspective. And period. I'm so happy that she responded because it is a shame to see like your own people be the ones give you the most backlash just because you're not the type of black that maybe they were expecting, especially when they like rise to stardom. Like for Tyler the Creator, he's always been a very controversial rapper, but there are a lot of does this, okay? And Doechii has made it very clear that she does this. Like nobody can look me in the face and tell me that she's not a rapper. Like, have you lost your mind? Um, are we listening to the same thing? I don't think we're listening to the same thing. Um, so she's just made it very clear, even with her style, she doesn't have necessarily an alternative style, but she's very loose and forward with her fashion, and she's the epitome of self-expression. And in her song "When I Was a River," you watch the music video and listen to the lyrics a little bit. She first came out 2020. That's when TikTok was really on and popping. Lately, it's been more of a process of blow up on TikTok, you get a record deal. But in the past, it used to be so. Nobody wants to make artists anymore. They expect you to come and just. It's just she was put in a situation where she had a little blow up on TikTok. She got a record deal, and suddenly they wanted her to make music for the app and making content, not art. So it really wasn't her, and I feel like she maybe fell back a little bit. It's kind of unclear, but she's come back now in her own authentic way, and that seems to be the most promising. I'm so glad that she did. But that's just one example of Black women not being accepted as they show up as for other people. Very frustrating to see Black women constantly be put in these boxes of the shell of a Black woman. Like that's what's the most. Another person who comes to mind immediately, when she had her Beats campaign and futuristic robot Y2K simulator. People did not like it. They were dragging her through the mud, and it was just so undeserved. And people have also made critiques about her fashion choices because she's a very like fashion forward person, and she's not an IG baddie. Like she's probably got the face of an IG baddie, I guess you could say, but she's not an IG baddie. And I guess people assume because of her background and her upbringing, what they perceive African American culture to be, they assume that she's not that they don't deem as African American or African American people. It's ridiculous, but she took it on her own to say that she's here representing hood women or hood black women because they're allowed to be different too and be spaces too that you wouldn't normally see them in. It doesn't always have to be this one type of black girl in these settings. So I love that, embrace that. I'm gonna pull up a little quote that she wrote in response to someone on Twitter. Back when the campaign was coming out, said, this is an article from Atlanta Black Star. Um, again, came out around the time when the whole Beats campaign thing was going on. She had a lot of other controversy online, but that's not what we're talking about today. So, anyways, in response to that, she made it very clear. She said, "quote unquote," I'm getting to the bag. Some of y'all don't know nothing about because y'all spend y'all last to be a baddie on Instagram, and nobody gonna approach y'all because y'all ain't got no range. I'm live backlash, and that's so real. And I think that stems from a lot of, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's a accumulating pattern I've noticed in Black culture of people throwing on a Gucci belt over some stacked jeans and think they got that shit on. You don't. Fashion is more than a name brand. It's more than what's popular. It's more than what's trending. It's ultimately about self-expression. what feels good and looks good to you. But for people to drag her online for things that she's proud of, and she stepped out the house, and like clearly she looked at the fit 3, 4, 5, 6 times when she stepped out the house. She has a full body mirror, I'm sure, and it's not one of those Walmart ones. Okay, like she's gonna invest her money into quality pieces and things that are fun and expressive for her. So I feel like we should all just respect that and appreciate the fact that she's making room for doing so, because without it, really, where would we be? Like, this representation is really important to Black girls. Well, they were so different growing up because of how they dressed, and they weren't really accepted. So I love to see it. Also, y'all, she's dating Lil Uzi. What did y'all really expect? Like, really? But moving on to the next awkward Black girl. Our favorite awkward Black girl. She's a comedian, writer, actress, and she's had a few different projects that maybe you're familiar with. She was in The Bear. I think that's in a show, if I'm not mistaken. And I know her from Bottoms. It was like a little high school satire cliche movie. I actually didn't really like it, but people loved it, so whatever. But she's really funny. She did like stand up comedy too, so it's just really refreshing to see. But she really just kind of takes that stereotype of being like the awkward Black girl, and I love it. I love to see awkward weird Black girls. Really have such little representation for that. And as an awkward weird Black girl, it is just making it for our need to live. Like, just let us live. But of course, there are haters in this lifetime, and what someone said to Miss Ayo at the very, it saddens my heart really. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what they said. They said someone on Twitter, I don't know what to say about people on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what business y'all have on Twitter to where you make it your business to be on everybody else's business, but that's just what Twitter seems like to me. It just seems like a hub of people who don't got no job, don't know how to be in their own lane, and always in everybody's business. I don't know. I'm not on there, especially now that Elon's purchased it. I'm not. I got no business on Twitter. Let me tell you that. Anyways, I found this quote online. Someone took to Twitter and said, "I always find myself disappointed in Ayo Edebiri. She could be that Black girl, but instead she's one of those Black girls, like the type of Black girl to give her braids a middle part." What does that mean? Okay, I guess we can put our context clues together and have an idea as to what that means. Um, I don't appreciate that. One, what's wrong with the middle part? And two, what do we mean by that Black girl? Now, I think we can dissect that and say that that Black girl is, stereotypical IG baddie who have their vibe and they're cute in their own right. That's fine, but not every Black girl is going to be an IG baddie. Every Black girl wants to be an IG baddie. Why people are gruntled by that fact? Like, I don't really see what's that. I just think we need to stop making Black people, Black women, especially, a monolith. We are very creative individuals. We have our right. We are entitled to the right of self-expression that we are all born with naturally, and we have that right. I don't know why we'd allow talk about our right, especially when like it's bad enough that society is already painting an image for us as to what a Black woman is supposed to be or what they look like. So I don't know why we perpetuate that standard, but it's very unacceptable. And I'm so glad she was held accountable. I think the tweet is actually deleted now because it was just like, girl, what are you talking about? And this is another quote by Ayo that she said in her Citizens interview about her experience as a Black woman, specifically as a Black woman who it's perceived that she doesn't have many Black friends apparently. And just, I think maybe she was, I'm not going to assume, but I think she was maybe grown up in a middle class home family life. I don't really know, but that is just, I don't know. But anyways, so she took to Citizen magazine and she discussed her experience. Um, and this is what she said. I think the way that I approach things also is as a writer and as a comedian. and not as an actress, specifically an actress in a female presenting body, especially a black woman's body. I'm like, whoa, this is vile, and I did not consent to this. I have the mind of a writer and of a fool, and I speak like a fool. I want the jester's privilege. I miss the jester's privilege. And instead, it's like, you're a lady in Guion? In Guion? Ooh, I don't know how to pronounce that word, not gonna hold you. Or you're the black girl that people think XYZ about, and I'm like, none of this is true. I can't. Well, that pretty much sums it up. And when I think about Jester's privilege, the first thing I think about is black men and black comedians, specifically Show Speed. If you don't know who Show Speed is, he's like this wacky, um, definitely a character. This black guy, I think he's in like his early 20s now, and he basically rose to popularity on the internet by just doing stupid stuff on streams, and people found it funny. And he acts an absolute fool. He's made a fool of himself. Like he acts an absolute fool, but nobody looks at him and is like, "You're a disgrace to black men all around the world because you don't carry yourself such in this way." Like it's ridiculous. Black women are held to this impossible standard all the time. And it's really unfair. And she deserves that jester's privilege. She's a comedian, for God's sake. Like, what more do y'all want from her? And if this is how she's going to show up and present herself to the world, we should be thankful that this is what we're getting and this is what she's going to share. Because, I mean, talent is meant to be shared, her expression is meant to be shared. We need that. And whether it makes you guys uncomfortable or not, all would greatly benefit from getting off of the internet and commenting on or persona, from that parasocial relationship, and just actually go figure out who you are outside of this internet space. Thank you. Next, let's talk about SZA. So SZA, I think she's like in her 30s now, which is crazy. I love SZA. She's been in the music game. She's an R&B singer, songwriter. She's been in the music game for a long time now, like back in like Baby Drake era. We won't talk too much about that, but she's been in the music a long time now. But no, one day in 2018, 2017, dropped and the world stopped. Really, like there's not much else to say about it. Um, He's been making really good music ever since, but Control is just always going to have a place in my heart, and I think weird alternative black girls' hearts all across the world because it was really something that made us feel seen, and it was very vulnerable and a moment of transparency for women all across the world, but specifically black women. Like, she definitely wrote about black being like the black experience, like Drew Barrymore, like, come on. And also just being the type of woman that people accept, or just self-identity and the whole concept of herself, like she really put herself out into control. And I feel as though I've seen people criticize SZA for her aesthetic in itself. Like she really brought light to like the poetic, messy, girl, insecure vibe, um, which spoke to a lot of women personally on a personal level, and I loved it. I do have to say, I feel like there's been a bit of a decline in her music, at least lyrically. It doesn't really feel like it's coming from the heart. But that's what she wants to give us, what she wants to give us. But I think people do notice that it's just been a little bit of a, it's been a spiral. But hey, we move. But I do thank SZA for the things that she's shared with us and just for the spaces that she's made for alternative black girls and just awkward black girls because SZA herself, at least from what I see, she seems to be quite awkward. So it's just really refreshing to see, and she'll always hold a special place in my heart. Say it like that. Garden got me through the toughest times, may I just say. So I love SZA. She's great. And just they probably had it rough getting here. I was actually just watching a YouTube video. Her name, either due to my lack of experience or um, He just made a sit down video about what it was like growing up. Exactly everything. Feeling like good enough or feeling like there's something wrong. And 9 times out of 10, it's completely about them and just about you just won't mesh well with everybody because not everybody. But trust, people will. People will come into your life who appreciate it. Sometimes you just have to be patient in your solitude. Crafts, all the little knick-knack things that interest you, building up that persona, build up your confidence because when people are looking to friendships with you, you'll be ready to accept them, and it won't be like that where you feel like you're about to get through something. Okay, someone wants to be my friend. Cool, that's nice. Our YouTube video that I saw. Name is Kofaworola. I think I'm pronouncing this right. It was a short film on YouTube called Wonderfully Made, and it was really wonderfully made. A short film on South Southern faith. Her faith, her growth in her faith really helped, and it was very beautiful because she the detail about her experiences pretty. It was beautifully done, like the production. I do think that there are just certain expectations for women, or especially for dark skinned women, to show up. What if I just want to roll out? What if I just want to roll out of bed? What if I just want to roll out of bed? Like, is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? And unfortunately, it is something that I've only really experienced with other Black people. Like, it's usually always the aunties or the people in older generations who want to talk about your appearance. And I understand that it's definitely coming from their place in society and how they were raised and how they were Black women should be. But I just think it's time that we let go of that standard and really just, as long as they're showing up authentically, I don't see it. It doesn't matter. That white femininity on standards as to what is feminine and our perception, it's really an individual thing, but you can just tell when there's like white femininity being forced down a Black woman's throat. Willingly, that's fine. I just don't think that's a standard. It's ridiculous, and it's just. I want to talk about what being whitewashed is. Don't get me started. Yeah, so just finding ways to transmute that self love from rejection. Really, the strongest thing that we can do. Hard, and a lot of times it's something that we have to rhetorics, but just being able to build community and finding, regardless of all of the naysayers, very supportive communities who are going to ride for them 10 toes down and hold those people accountable. So if you are a Black girl, don't don't take it for granted, okay? You are exactly who you're supposed to be. What's so cool about who I am? Everything. Because you are unique. You are this actually just being thing that life can offer you. You have to bend to that. So I'm gonna stop being this. I mean, we'll also definitely don't compromise for people who are pretending. Definitely don't do it for no damn fool. Definitely. I'm gonna have to make a whole other episode on that alone because I hate to see a fairy's wings get snatched from her back every time I see one of y'all succumb to the urges of the male gaze. I got beside myself. More on self-expression in that later. But the segment, I'm so excited for you guys to watch. So if you've been listening and you're an awkward black girl, or you're a black girl who knows how to stand period, I love you. Help us awkward black girls out. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed and I'm gonna take it from here.
Hello, it's your co-host of Reality Podcast. As you can see, I have my mug and it's Valentine's Day themed. XOXO. So I hear all the discord about the weird black girls and all that. One thing I'm always gonna defend is weird black girls. Don't try it. First of all, who's the one who made up how to be black? Really, what is weird? Really, let's be real. What is actually weird? Okay? I just think people hate to see black women be themselves. Y'all hate on everybody. Like, what is wrong with being yourself? Now, Miss Doechii, let me tell you, Layla put me on to her, and she has easily become one of my top artists immediately. She's just so authentic and so herself, and just pushing boundaries on what it means to be really anybody. I love that for her. I love that for black women. I love that we are pioneers. I love that we are just the greatest. What can I say? Trendsetters. Even when we're talking about weird black girl, I think we have to remember, like, why are we gatekeeping what being black is, and why are we putting ourselves in artificial lines and boundaries? Like, haven't we had enough of that? Let's not do it to each other. Clock it. A perfect example is how Doechii made a great statement piece by wearing, the snatched tape on her eyes. She looks great. And I remember seeing it for the first time, and I thought it was cute. I was like, okay, cool. I knew it was on purpose. I thought it was dope. I ain't gonna lie. But when I saw people were like, she needs to take that off, this and the third, I'm like, why do y'all want to be NPCs of each other? Like, why do we not like individualism? Like, why? I think what it is that people see other people being authentic, and it like makes them feel insecure about themselves because they have to go out of their way and be like, why aren't you being the way that society made you to be? Why are you like this? And you're just looking at them like, but why don't I just be myself? I don't have to listen to the boundaries given by society. I feel like when you like are so involved with yourself and you have introspection and you work on yourself, like things like that don't really come across your head. Like, I really think it's just people projecting. They're just projecting their own things, and it's quite annoying because are we being so serious? Like, be so serious. If you really think about it, hating the weird black girl trope or just seeing black girls in a different light, even like with JT and her outfits, and people are saying, why doesn't she dress like this? Like, why does everyone have to be an Instagram baddie? Like, it's like y'all need something to follow, and when you see people that don't, it's like something is just mad. Like, what is up with that? it's really rooted in anti-blackness. Just forcing Black women to assimilate constantly, whether it's our hair, the way we dress, the way we walk, the way we talk, jewelry choices. People are gonna sit here and judge us regardless. Literally, after slavery, we were forced to assimilate in so many different ways. And even when you talk to older people and you hear stories of their childhood, it's not that long ago. It's not that long ago. Like, people don't understand how much history can sit there and repeat itself because they just like live like NPCs. I'm so serious. I don't know what's with that one. Just choosing to be entertained. Our individuality has been kind of washed down and watered down for a very long time. Like, since you're a kid, you're constantly kind of like taught to act one way and view life a lot like the same way. You can see it through just going to school. Like, you were more, I feel like people are more integrated, and then as you get older, people kind of like divvy out into their social groups, and you kind of get into this kind of segregation type thing, because it's also rooted in people not wanting to change and not change their belief system that they're raised around and not have real conversations with each other. But it's neither here nor there. If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me, you don't talk Black, you're not Black because you haven't watched this said movie or done, what are we doing that for? Hold on, this is really good. Hold on. It's Valentine's Day. We have our XOXO mug. Come on, so cute. Hating on weird Black girl trope is so crazy because they're pushing the bounds of what it means to be Black and how we're displayed in mainstream media. Oftentimes, some people have never seen Black people before. You go to like certain countries, like I know you guys see those videos of like people going to China or Korea. People are taking pictures with them, calling them Beyonce. Be so serious. A lot of them only have a reference to Black people of what they see on television. So to not see Black women especially emulated in different lights and have different interests and not have us stereotyped, I don't know why that would ever be a bad thing. Let's get into it, y'all. I have my cup. XOXO Valentine's Day themed, okay? And one thing I will always defend is my weird Black girls, is my girls with individuality, or my girls that push boundaries, my girls that know that they are not the one or the two, but the only. There's no other one, okay? You can't be one if there's nobody else but you, okay? Right, you could be the one. You know what I mean. It's just you, period. What even is a Black girl? Like, who gatekeep Blackness, and can you give it back? We are all just affected by social norms and social constructs and things that are in our society and how you choose to take it or not. And y'all just hate that weird Black girls are strong enough to be like, you know what? I'm gonna just do my own thing. Put the motherfucking money in my motherfucking hands. I'm a Gucci and a bonnet spending motherfucking bands. This whole thing going on with people hating on Doechii, and now she just won a Grammy. Like, clock it, okay? The fuck? So funny how we allow Black men to be individuals, but as soon as a Black woman is an individual, it's halt. So that just shows that Black women, as far as the social hierarchy, kind of like mentally put us at the bottom, where they're just expecting assimilation. They're expecting this level of not being your own person because they have like put an environment where you are so stifled. Here are these things talking about Black women are the least married, Black women are the... Honestly, when I be hearing that, I just be like, I know they're not talking about me. Like, I know they're not talking about me. Very big on words, and I don't appreciate people feeding Black women these things online. Like, they're just not true. I think it's very important to realize that you don't actually have to take on the ideology of society. Like, yes, that's what society is saying. So them say. Is not tangible. This is not something we can literally see in real life. People are just telling you that you're the least desired. Who? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall ever experiencing that in my life, nor the beautiful black women whom I know. And I'm not gonna allow people to put that on to me like, you're not gonna do that here, buddy. No. Because of black women having this trope put on them, there's only room for upward growth. Because if you're on this quote unquote bottom of society where socially you feel like this need to assimilate and things like that, when you really just realize, well, y'all are gonna judge me anyways. Y'all are literally going to judge me anyways. No matter how I wear my hair, no matter how I dress, no matter how I talk, somebody's always going to have an opinion. So why make an opinion bother me that's literally not real? The only person that matters opinion is really of yourself. People expect you to kind of like turn into an NPC robot to get any chance of social upliftment and go through this society. But I think it's very important that black women choose to change their reality. If I do not give in to what's going on, is it really real? Doechii, when she said in her Grammy speech, hold on, let me pull it up because I want to quote my girl well. I know that there's a black woman out there, so many black women out there that are watching me right now, and I want to tell you, you can do it. Anything is possible. And the goalpost is always moving. Before, in the early 2000s, when perms were really big, guess what? The goal was having a great perm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your hair being flat, long. That was the beauty standard during the time. And now people are worried about their curls and who has the best wash and go. Like, the goalpost changes and it moves. And I think it's beautiful that we're getting into black women wearing their natural hair, but we're still falling into categories of texturism and people still having genuine problems with accepting their texture. Like, I literally saw a video of this girl talking about, I feel like I don't fit into the light skin body category because I have 4C hair. Having insecurities is okay. It forces you to be upfront with who you actually are and answer questions for yourself, and it uncovers a lot about your subconscious. Your subconscious plays into every little thing you do in your life. Most of the things you do are based on your subconscious mind, and people never have conversations with themselves. This idea of being introspective, people honestly like women to be pretty and not talk sometimes. And some women are okay with that. Some women are okay with following to the trope because it's easier. It's easier to align yourself with society and what it has for you. But when you are a black girl and nothing in society is made for you and built for you, the most beautiful thing that you can do is pave your own way. And seeing women like Doechii, Willow Smith, JT be themselves and be authentically who they are without caring about a society that wasn't made for them anyways. There was a time where you literally could not get a job if you were not light-skinned and had straight hair. Like, you could not be seen on mainstream media. This has ripple effects into society, the constructs we live in, how we view the world, and how we're treated. So as a black girl, when you step out of that and you hear your elders like, girl, you going outside with that bonnet on? Immediately, yes, I am. Because if it wasn't the bonnet, it was gonna be the outfit. If it wasn't the outfit, it was gonna be the hair. If it wasn't the hair, it was gonna be the way I had my makeup. Like, it was gonna be something, like, if we're being real. So I'll just give them an obvious one. So they don't be caring about your bonnet. It's black people doing it to each other. It's us doing it to us, y'all. And it also goes into this idea that people do not like change. When people have a system that they feel like has been working, or they feel like they're just comfortable in, they will not move. The law of inertia. An object at rest stays in rest. An object in motion stays in motion. Some people are stuck. It's time to get that ball rolling, okay? Let's go. Power lies. It does not lie in conformity and watering yourself down to fit what and to be where. People who are focused on themselves have no time to hate on other people. Literally none. You know why? They're busy and they're focused on themselves and their goals. So important to give space for Black women to be seen and to be seen authentically. I think when you're a marginalized group already, it's just kind of, why are you breadcrumbing me one type of woman, and why are you feeding that to me as if that's what I need to be seen in society, to be valued. And I think when you step out of that box of wanting to be valued and knowing you're valued, instead you realize that your authenticity will attract. All it will do is attract, because you're being yourself. And when you are in a world full of people who are trying so desperately to be someone else and someone that they're not, that just leaves more space for you to get your blessings and fill it with a world of things that are unique, and that will automatically attract your correct audience, you know? A lot of people come into this and assume who you are before you've even spoken. That's why I think it's so important that you be you. People are going to have their opinion on you literally regardless. And I think it's so important to challenge the idea of the social constructs that are already here. If you're saying one thing is true and I'm actively emulating something that is the opposite of what you're saying, that allows room for growth and change and liberation from these tireless conversations of me being able to be myself and Black women being able to be themselves and have a voice for true representation of Black women in media is a beautiful thing. So important to remember your individualism. Remember who you were when you were playing on the playground as a kid and you had no real inkling of the societal pressures that were on you just yet. That time of just being able to like what you liked and do what you do and it being cool to you. It's so sad that as we get older, we ingest and digest the things that are going on in our society and we make them reflect in our lives. And that's not something that I think we owe to ourselves. I think that's something we need to overcome. And it's this act of renewing our mind and becoming who we're meant to be. Because at the end of the day is gonna end. Forget how little time we have to just be and emulate our true selves. You think God gave us all individual fingerprints for us to be carbon copies of each other? Like, are we so serious right now? Like, please get out of here. Please get out of here. I don't want to hear that. So being a weird Black girl is something I now own, because I think before I just felt like it had a negative connotation. Like, what do you mean weird? I really still want to know what weird means. Please explain to me what being weird means. Like, I cannot. But I think it's important that, like, now as I'm getting older, I'm deconstructing these social norms that have been placed upon me. I also think we have to understand this law of attraction. When you love yourself and you emulate that to the highest degree, you're only going to attract those who love themselves to the highest degree, and that's how you can have a beautiful arrangement together. That's how you can have growth and healing and understanding, because you're not looking at somebody through the lens of patriarchy, through the lens of misogyny, through the lens of colorism, texturism. People choose their partners on their social constructs and beliefs. People will seriously only date people based on the pigment of their color. Like, I don't even think people realize how dumb that sounds. And we're all black. We're all going through the same thing. You think they're pulling you over like, oh, light skin Tyrone. You're good. No. It's get out the car. Put your hands up. Nobody's worrying about that but you. That's why when we really talk about even the beauty standard that's upon Black women and stepping out of what is quote unquote beautiful to other people, because you can find beauty in so many different things, and you have to understand, why do you find something beautiful? Is that genuinely because you really like it, or is it ingrained self-hatred or another lens you're looking through? Taking the time to figure that out is extremely important, and it's something that takes time and that needs to be done, because lack of change, lack of growth within yourself, where is the fun in that? Where is the fun in not being yourself? Be authentically you. But yeah, that's my little 2 cents, my little tidbits. So bye y'all.